Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutaha Stunvanti Divyestavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanishadaihi Gayantiyam Samagaha Dhyanavasthita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyantiyam Yoginaha Yasyantam na Vidusura Suraganaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha Devaya Tasmai Namaha. Krishna Krishna Mana Mohana Chita Chora Gopi Jivana. Krishna Krishna Mana Mohana Chitta Chora Gopi Jivana. Venudhari Jagan Mohana Vrajavasi Nanda Nandana. Venudhari Jagan Mohana Vrajavasi Nanda Nandana. Krishna Krishna Mana Mohana Chitta Chora Gopi Jivana. Meghashyama Madhusudana Radhakanta Yadunandana. Meghashyama Madhusudana Radhakanta Yadunandana. Krishna Krishna Mana Mohana Chitta Chora Gopi Jivana. Chitta Chora Gopi Jivana. Hari Om, prostrations to one and all. So we were seeing the values of life mentioned in the 13th chapter. Amanitvam, Adambhitvam, Ahimsa. These many values we have seen. Next we will see Kshanti. What is Kshantihi? Bhagavan Shankaracharya ji says, Paraparadha praptau avikriya. When somebody harms us, not retaliating. So this virtue is called Kshanti. In short, forgiveness. Kshama, to forgive. This forgiveness is of three types. The first and the best one, where you forgive and you forget. A Jñānī, a Mahātmā, a realized person is able to do it. He is able to forgive and he forgets also. The second best is you forgive but you are not able to forget. All the spiritual seekers are able to do it. The more you are evolved, the more easily you are able to forgive. The more quickly you are able to forgive. But you are not able to forget. This is the second type. And the third and the worst, you are neither able to forgive nor able to forget. Now, to understand the glory of this virtue called forgiveness, we will have to see the opposite of forgiveness and what happens to them who are not able to forgive. What happens to them? How do they suffer in life? So when we discuss this topic, the glory of forgiveness becomes clear. Whichever the entity may be, the individual, the family, the organization, the nation, whichever the entity may be, that entity in which this forgiveness is not cultivated, there is a revenge-taking tendency. We find in the history of mankind that there is no progress or prosperity in that entity. It can be individual, it can be a family, it can be a team, it can be a nation, organization, community, caste, whatever. Let us first take an individual. How such a person gets totally distracted because of his inability to forgive. So here is an old man. He leaves his house to buy some medicines. He goes in his bicycle. As he is going through a narrow gully, narrow lane, one youngster is coming from the other side. He is also coming in the bicycle. And they just rub against each other. Now what does this old man do? He stops his bicycle, puts the cycle on the stand, goes to this youngster. So this youngster also, seeing this old man stopping, he also stopped. And this old man started abusing the youngster, goes towards him with sleeves raised. Now till then the youngster was silent because he was giving respect to this old man. Normally in the society, the age is also given respect. An old person is always given respect. So this youngster is quiet. And now this old man goes. Youngster is silent. Old man goes and catches his collar. Collar is caught. He started abusing. And now the youngster can't keep quiet because everything has a limit. Now there is a push and pull. The arguments get heated up. Each one is blaming the other. And finally what happened? You can imagine. This youngster gives a solid blow to this old man. He falls flat and he is taken to hospital. So see this. He had left his house to buy medicines. And where has he landed up? He landed up in the hospital. Small issue, blown out of big proportion, totally got distracted, forgets about the goal and lands up in a greater mess. This is what absence of forgiveness does. We get caught up in petty issues and the goal is forgotten. This Kshanti is mentioned as TITIKSHÀ in Samadhi Shatka Sampatti. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam chinta vilaparahitam Sa titiksha nigadyate, Bhagavan Shankaracharya says. Little pricks of life, the ability to endure them cheerfully, silently, uncomplainingly, without grumbling. This ability is called titiksha. It is the same thing here, kshanti. Moving on with life, not bothering about little issues, not creating a big issue out of small things. It's very important quality to reach the goal. In the families also we find very many families are stuck in court cases. Some petty issue, they file a case against the other family. And decades together they are fighting in the court. Attending court sessions, meeting this lawyer, that lawyer, going to the higher court, filing petitions and cases. In the process, time is wasted, money is wasted, no peace of mind, always seething in anger and revenge and bitterness against one's own family members. This is what happens when we don't cultivate this virtue called forgiveness. And this revenge-taking attitude is very times glorified in the films also. There are so many films. Movies are made. The movie begins with an old man lying down. His family members are surrounding him. This old man is just going to die. And then he says, until the revenge is taken, my soul will not rest in peace. Saying this, this old man dies. And this is how very many movies begin. And once this old man dies, the names are shown. Producer, director, this, that, etc. And the whole film. Now what is this whole film? His sons, his children, they sell the land, they sell the property, they sell the shop, they sell home, and then they keep on buying arms and ammunitions and guns and this and that. And the whole movie is about violence, killing and getting killed, taking revenge. Very many movies are made, and in reality also it is true. This is what happens to families which resort to violence and revenge. What to talk of families, even nations. There are such nations also where one tribe is fighting with another tribe. Nations like Afghanistan, there is no production, there is no cultivation, there is no prosperity, there is only fight, purchase arms and ammunition and fight with each other. There is only destruction, enmity, revenge. Such nations are also there. So we find, whether at the individual level or at the family level or at the national level, any entity which entertains this absence of forgiveness, this tendency to take revenge, we don't find them prospering or progressing. They are always poor. In our Purānas also we find such stories. The most famous story is the story of Drona and Drupada. Dronacharya and Drupada, both of them, they studied under the same teacher. I think it was Rishi Bharadwaj who taught them. They were in the Gurukula. They studied together. They were fast friends. So one day, Drupada told Drona that once I become the king, I will make you my treasurer. Gurukula Vasa was over, both of them left. Drona married Kripi, the sister of Kripacharya, and he had a son named Ashwatthama, and they were very poor. Whereas Drupada, he went on to become the king of Panchala Desha. So looking at this poverty, Dronacharya thought, let me go and ask my friend. He will definitely help me. So one day Dronacharya went to meet Drupada and asked for some favor. At that time Drupada said, how can there be friendship between a rich person and a poor man? How can there be friendship between a king and a beggar? It's just not possible. So go away, get out. Drupada insults Drona. Drona was humiliated. He felt very bad and he decided to take revenge. And what did he do? He became the Acharya, Astra Shastra Acharya of Kauravas and Pandavas in Hastinapura. After teaching them the art of warfare, the Guru Dakshina which Dronacharya asked was, I want Drupada to be caught alive and brought in front of me. So Pandavas and Kauravas, they go, they fight with Drupada, finally catches him, brings him and puts him in front of Dronacharya, captive. He was caught alive and brought. Then Dronacharya said, Drupada, I can very easily kill you now, but I don't want to kill you because we were friends once upon a time, and at that time you had told friendship can be only with equals. So therefore what I will do, I will take half of your kingdom so that we become equal now. So Uttara Panchala you take, Dakshina Panchala give it to me. Now we are equals, now we should continue as friends. So he takes half of his kingdom and leaves Drupada. Now Drupada is seething with revenge. He has insulted me, I should take revenge, I should kill him. But Drupada knew that he did not have that strength to kill Dronacharya. So therefore he goes on to conduct one yajna where a son was born to him, and the purpose was only one, to kill Dronacharya. And the name of the son you all must be knowing, Drishtadyumna. Then what happened? War happened. In the Mahabharata war, Dronacharya kills Drupada. And later, Drupada's son Drishtadyumna kills Dronacharya when he was sitting in Samadhi. When he was told that Ashwatthama is dead. It was Drishtadyumna who chops the head of Dronacharya. Then what happened? Dronacharya's son Ashwatthama kills Drishtadyumna after the war when he was sleeping. So you see the whole thing. One killing the other taking revenge, and this goes on and on and on. That's why it is very well said, an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. There is no end. And what happens when a person is filled with this attitude of revenge? His intellect becomes paralyzed, blank. There is only one thought in his mind, how to take revenge, how to destroy the other. In the process, I may go to hell, it doesn't matter. In the process, I will have to suffer, doesn't matter. The other person should not live in peace. I will not allow him to remain in peace. Look at that case of Shikhandi. He was Amba in his previous birth. All of you must be knowing this story. Swayamvara was happening, Amba, Ambika, Ambalika. Bhishmacharya goes there and carries all the three. He challenges all the kings and the princes there. If you win me, then you can take them. Otherwise, I am taking them. He took all the three for Vichitra Virya. So this Amba said, see, I am in love with the king. Please leave me. Bhishma said, oh yes, you can go. Amba was left. Amba goes to that king. The king said, no, you have been taken away, so I will not accept you. Amba comes back and asks Bhishma to marry. Bhishma says, I cannot marry you because I have taken this vow that I will remain unmarried. Amba goes to Parashurama. Please tell him to get married because he is your Shishya. And there is a fight between Parashurama and Bhishma. Parashurama could not defeat Bhishma. So therefore, Amba's desire remained unfulfilled. Now Amba felt that her life has been ruined by this one man called Bhishma. I will take revenge. I will kill him. And then she goes on to do tremendous tapas, intense tapas. Such was the intensity of her tapas that Lord Shiva himself appears in front of her. Now when Bhagavan has appeared, a person with common sense, what will he ask? Bhagavan, give me Jnana, Bhakti, Vairagya, Moksha. Make me free from this birth-death cycle. This is what a person with a little common sense will ask. What is this lady asking? I want to kill Bhishma. Lord Shiva himself is standing in front. And what is it that you ask? That's why it is said when that revenge comes, the intellect is paralyzed. It is not able to think properly. Lord Shiva said, no, that is not possible because he is Ichhamarani. But yes, one way I can bless you. You can become instrumental in killing Bhishma. And that is how this Amba was born as Shikhandi in the next birth. And he becomes instrumental in killing Bhishma. What I am trying to say is, see that mindset. You are ready to go through any amount of suffering to see that your rival, your enemy is in trouble, is in pain. There is a funny story also. So there was this person who was doing tapas. Bhagavan appeared in front of him. And Bhagavan said, whatever you ask, the double I will give it to your neighbor, your enemy. Then this person asked, okay Bhagavan, then make me blind in one eye. Why? So that the neighbor will become blind in both eyes. A funny story, but it is true. I am ready to go through any amount of suffering to see that my enemy suffers. Both of them are suffering in the process. Tulsidas ji gives the example of this hailstorm. All these ice pellets, balls, ice balls, they fall from the atmosphere. Tulsidas ji says, see, they are falling. They don't mind falling from higher place. They don't mind melting themselves and disappearing, but in the process, they will destroy these crops completely. They fall, they melt. For what? To destroy the crops. These wicked people are like that, Tulsidas ji says. Very true. Now the question is, how to practice forgiveness? How to cultivate this virtue in us? The most important thing is to realize that when I am practicing this virtue, I am the first one to be benefited. Let it be very clear. Why am I practicing this virtue? I am practicing it for my own benefit. Others are benefited later, but I am the first one to benefit. Because when I am not having this quality of forgiveness, I start burning in revenge, and this revenge and bitterness and hatred, etc., they are like acids, concentrated acids. They corrode, they eat away the very container which contains it. So if I am not forgiving others, I will be burning in these concentrated acids of revenge, etc. As somebody has said, the person who is burning with all these negativities, he is like a person who is taking a burning charcoal to throw at others. So first he is affected before others are affected. So this we must clearly understand. It is for my own benefit that I am cultivating this virtue. There are very many people, old people. Something has happened some 50 years back. When they were some 25 years, this had happened, and they carry it with them for 50 years. At the age of 75 also, they remember it vividly. And they say, I cannot forgive that person who did such and such thing to me. And within moments they are burning. They get physically exhausted, mentally exhausted by reliving those moments of the past. They are not able to forgive or forget that particular incident. And they are burning and bubbling in hatred feeling. Their blood boils just by thinking of it. Somebody has to take the name of that person. That is enough. They start off. And the whole thing they narrate once again. Very many times he has narrated and made his life miserable. Again and again he will narrate the whole thing. In the process what happens? Health, physical health is gone, mental health is gone. Whenever I am entertaining such negative emotions in the mind, all the doctors, psychologists, they are unanimous saying that these negative emotions directly affect the physical health. There are so many books written where they have related this particular physical disease is connected to this particular negative emotion in the mind. They have written books and they have proved it also. Every negative emotion has a corresponding physical limb which it affects. And in Vedanta also, yes, we have to agree with it. Mind is called Sukshma Sharira, physical body is called Sthula Sharira. The gross body and the subtle body. So whatever happens in the mind should definitely affect the body also. Body and mind, they are very closely connected. The more and more you cultivate noble virtues in the mind, equally you will find the physical body also will be healthy. A healthy mind will have a healthy body. The reverse is also true. So therefore, let me make it very clear to myself, I am cultivating this virtue of forgiveness for my own benefit. For my own physical and emotional well-being, I am cultivating this virtue. Let it be very clear to us. As far as the spiritual seekers are concerned, cultivating forgiveness is very easy for them. How is it easy for them? Spiritual seekers are the ones who try to win over all the negativities of the mind. So therefore, they are very clear how difficult it is to remove these vices from the mind. Hundreds and thousands of times you have to fail to win over kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya. So they know the struggle. So when they see somebody struggling with all this negativity, they are able to easily forgive them. Because they know what happens when these negative emotions grip us. So instead of having hatred towards them, they will have only compassion. Poor man, he is struggling with his own negativity. He is abusing me, but that is because of his helplessness. When negative emotions, they paralyze you, they conquer you, you are a helpless puppet in the hands of these negative emotions. Then what you say, what you do, you have no control. So this the seekers know. So when they find these kinds of negative tendencies, the others, they are able to forgive them easily. In fact, they have only compassion for them. It is exactly like a person who is drunk, he has fallen in the wayside ditch, and that person who has fallen is abusing you. What will be your attitude? You will not feel like punishing him. No, you will have only compassion for him because you are able to understand his helplessness. Suppose you are walking along the road and suddenly somebody pushes you from behind, you fall down, you are injured, and with anger you look and you find a blind man there. What will be your attitude? You will not feel like knocking off his teeth. In fact, you will feel like only helping him reach his destination because you understand, you know, this is a blind man. Unknowingly he has done it. Helplessly he has done it. He can't see. And I know the difficulty of this person. I can imagine myself in his shoes. So what you do, you are injured because of his pushing, you get up, you hold his hand and take him wherever he wants to go, isn't it? Compassion comes automatically. In the same way, a seeker who is struggling to conquer these negativities, for him, forgiving others is easy. The more evolved you are in spirituality, the easier and quicker will be your forgiveness. A seeker knows that in the society there are so many people who are more evolved than me. There are so many people who are less evolved than me. So what do I expect from people who are more evolved? I expect them to forgive me. In the same way, I must forgive those who are lesser evolved. Just like I expect the higher ones to forgive me. In the same way, a seeker is easily able to forgive those who are less cultured. Okay. What about a Jnānī? As far as a Jnānī is concerned, forgiveness is natural. Because he knows that there is nobody other than me. My own self is expressing in different bodies. So there is nobody other than me. And therefore, to say that I forgive myself is only stupidity. It is exactly like when I bite my tongue with my teeth. I don't feel like asking forgiveness or seeking forgiveness or forgiving, because both of them, they are me only. Tongue is also me, teeth is also me. When did you bite your tongue last time? Ask this question to yourself. You will find you don't even know. This is called forgetting. Forgive and forget. It becomes perfect when it is both me. This is the condition for a Jnānī. So his forgiveness is perfect forgiveness. Now, a complicated topic related to forgiveness, where discussion is necessary. Suppose a hardcore criminal comes and you are a judge. Are you supposed to forgive? Now we have to understand, DESHA-KΑLA-PΑΤRA, the wrong place, wrong time to wrong person. When forgiveness is practiced, it will not be a virtue, it will be a vice. So here is a hardcore criminal and you forgive him with your powers. What will happen? This hardcore criminal will commit more crimes in the future in the society, and he becomes an inspiration for very many youngsters to commit crime, isn't it? The generation becomes fearless of law. They will say, anyway, what is there? We are going to be forgiven. More crimes will happen. So what is the end result of your forgiveness? More problems in the society. So therefore it has to be very careful where to forgive and where not to forgive. Lot of thinking is necessary, analysis is necessary. In very many countries, I am told that a young lady can walk down the street at midnight with all the jewelries put on. Nobody will even dare to touch her. There are such places, it seems. There are such countries. Why? The laws are so strict. The thieves, their hands are cut off. And the law is implemented so strictly, no one dares to disobey the law. Such countries are there. No one dares to break the signal. Traffic signal. Why? Fine is so huge. Even for small mistakes, you have to pay a heavy fine. And the officials there, you cannot bribe them. They will lose their job. So, out of fear of law, people are disciplined. Now, this has to be kept in mind. If the citizens of the country, they don't respect the law, then they should fear the law. Either through respect or fear, they must obey the laws. It is a responsibility of the authorities to see that laws are implemented strictly. Then there will be peace in the country, isn't it? And that is why you will find all the gods and goddesses in Hindu religion, you will find them with weapons. Why do you need weapons if everywhere you have to forgive? Weapons are necessary. Because there are times when forgiveness will not work, only punishment will work. Forgiving Duryodhana will not work. Therefore, Bhagavan decided to wage the war. That's why it is called Dharma Yuddha. This has to be understood. So, a lot of analysis is necessary, a lot of thinking is necessary to decide whether to forgive or whether to punish. To give a very simple example, there are people who unnecessarily criticize others, ridicule others, make fun of others, insult others. There are some people like that. This is their main job, to make fun, to belittle, to ridicule, and they will never stop this. But suppose in an assembly they are ridiculed, they are insulted by others, then what will happen? They feel the hurt, they feel humiliated, and that pain makes them introspect. And then they come to know how much they have been hurting others through their irresponsible behavior. Then what happens? There is all the possibility that this person may change for the better. So therefore, many times what happens, the punishment which you give, it is not only good for the society, it is good for the individual also. That which forgiveness cannot do, punishment can do. So therefore, we have to think deep and then come to this conclusion whether we should forgive the person or punish the person. Even when punishment is given, let it not be given with a feeling of hatred or revenge. Let it be given for the welfare of the person and for the welfare of the society. This is what has to be done. So this is about Kshanti. Amanitvam, Adambhitvam, Ahimsa, Kshanti. The next virtue is ārjavam. ārjavam. ārjavam means straightforwardness. What do you mean straightforwardness? Manasa, vacha, karmana in one line. Thought, word and deed in one line, that is called as ārjavam. Whatever I think, I speak. Whatever I speak, I do. That is called as ārjavam. All the three in one line. There is a beautiful Subhashitam which says, Manasi ekam, vachasya ekam, karmanyekam Mahātmānām. Manasyanyat, vachasyanyat, karmanyanyat durātmās. As far as a Mahatma is concerned, a saintly person is concerned, all the three are in one line. They are all one. Whereas a wicked person is concerned, all the three are in different lines. He thinks one thing, he speaks something else, he does something else. Whatever I think, I say. Whatever I say, I do. This virtue is called ārjavam. Straightforwardness. What happens to a person who practices this ārjavam? The greatest benefit is everybody trusts him. He is trusted by everyone. Puja Gurudev, when he used to conduct yajna, if it has to start at 6:30, it would start at 6:30. Whether the chief guest arrives on time or not, the yajna would start exactly on 6:30. The chief guest may be a big person, a governor or a prime minister or a chief minister or a president, whoever he may be. Whether he comes or not, the yajna would start. And very many times the chief guest will have to wait at the back or sit at the back because yajna has already started. So then what happened? The crowd would come at 6:30 because they know here is a Swami who will start on time. So therefore, they will not delay, they come exactly on 6:30. Now see, you create an impression that yes, this person, whatever he says, he will do it. Then people start trusting you. There's a very famous story which we all have studied in our school days. The story of the shepherd and the tiger. So the shepherd would go to the forest with his sheep, and one day he shouted, "Tiger, tiger, tiger." Villagers all came with big lathis, and they found that he was just making fun. He was clapping his hands and laughing. He was just making fun of them. Second day also he did the same thing. "Tiger, tiger." Some few turned up, some compassionate ones. Again they found that this fellow is playing tricks. The third day real tiger came and he shouted, "Tiger, tiger." Nobody was there. Now this is not the story of a tiger. This is the story of each and every one of us. What kind of impression are we creating in the minds of others? Through our words and deeds. Accordingly, an impression is formed in their minds and accordingly they will behave towards us. This is what you have to learn. I had read a story of this lawyer who was a great admirer of Mahatma Gandhi. So he decided, he was inspired by Mahatma Gandhi and he decided that from today onwards I will not take any false cases. Only if the cases are genuine, I will take it. Then what happened? He started getting lesser and lesser cases. He stuck to it. But within few years, this message spread that here is a lawyer who will argue only for genuine cases and he will not take any false case. So the genuine people started coming to him. And slowly he started getting more and more cases. And over a period of time, within 1 or 2 decades, a situation came where the judge, when he sees that this lawyer has taken a case, he would just support him. Because if this lawyer has taken a case, it will definitely be genuine because I have full trust in this lawyer. He became famous. That the judges used to support in his favor. This is what happens. Atal Bihari Vajpayee, our former Prime Minister. When Narasimha Rao government was ruling the country, it was somewhere in 1994. Benazir Bhutto, she was the Prime Minister of Pakistan. She went and complained to the United Nations in Geneva that India is violating human rights in Kashmir through Indian army. She went and complained. That was a time when even America was supporting Pakistan. She went and complained there and it created a big hue and cry. Now Narasimha Rao wanted somebody to represent India and present India's case. So whom did he choose? You will not believe he chose Atal Bihari Vajpayee, a Congress government Prime Minister, choosing the opposition leader to represent the nation. Can you believe? It's unthinkable in today's times. Here is a Prime Minister who selects the opposition leader to present India's case. Such was the trust which Prime Minister had on the opposition leader. Benazir Bhutto was stunned. She said, "What is this? Here am I with my opposition leader trying to pull me down, trying to create more and more problems in my own country. My own countrymen creating problem for me in my own country. And here is this opposition leader who is chosen to represent his nation." She was stunned. She was out of her wits' end, as they say. Could not believe. That was the kind of personality which Atal Bihari Vajpayee had. In 1971, when India-Pak war was going on, when all these political parties were criticizing Indira Gandhi government, at that time Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister. It was Vajpayee who said, "Please don't criticize the government. Now, this is the time when we all have to come together and unanimously support the government." Yes, this is not the time to fight. This is the time to pledge wholehearted support for the government, forgetting all our political differences. This was what he said. And that gave a great strength to Indira Gandhi to go ahead with her policies. Vajpayee said, "We are all with you. Whatever decision you take, we are all with you." See, here is a person who is able to think beyond party, who is beyond petty party politics. Here is a person who is thinking of the nation. This is called ārJAVAM. You know, it is not that Vajpayee never criticized Narasimha Rao. Very many times he has criticized his policies and schemes. But even when he criticized them, they were in good friendly terms. Because Narasimha Rao knew that this man is arguing. He has no personal, rivalry. He is doing it for the welfare of nation. Once it so happened, Manmohan Singh presented the budget and Vajpayee thoroughly criticized him. To such an extent, Manmohan Singh felt very bad and he even applied for resignation. But then Vajpayee went to him and said, "Please don't take these criticisms personally. We are all trying to work hard to bring up the nation. The future of the nation is important for us, not these differences. So personal differences should not be taken, such criticism should not be taken personally." So he persuaded Manmohan Singh not to resign. See the greatness of this man. To such an extent, everyone loved him and respected him. Vajpayee became the first non-Congress Prime Minister who completed 5-year terms. With 24 parties with different ideologies, different objectives, they all came together under his leadership. Very many parties were fighting amongst each other also. But they had total trust in this one man, because here is a person who is not thinking in terms of his party, he is thinking in terms of the nation, welfare of the nation. On one side, Vajradapi Kathorani, on the other side, Mruduni Kusumanyapi. On one side, softer than flower petals, Mruduni Kusumanyapi. On the other side, Vajradapi Kathorani. He was the one who took initiative to improve the relationship with Pakistan. Bus started from India to Pak and Pakistan to India. He called Nawaz Sharif and said, see, friends can be changed, but neighbors cannot be changed. We will be eternal neighbors, so it is always better to have good relationships with each other. And all those initiatives were taken. It was Vajpayee's initiative. But very soon this Kargil problem came. And then he became harder than diamond. All these terrorists were chased out. He took the decision to go for war against them, not listening to big superpowers. It was the same Vajpayee who took the initiative to do Pokhran tests, nuclear tests. In spite of the threats from superpowers like America, he did not step back. He went ahead. Whatever is good for the nation, I will do it. That was his philosophy. He was the one who recommended Abdul Kalam's name for presidential election. He was the one who requested Abdul Kalam to become the president of the nation. Now, look at this man. He is beyond petty party politics. He is beyond religion. He has got only one goal, nation, and whatever is good for the nation, I will do it. Now this is called as ārJAVAM. Intellectually, what he thinks, he speaks, and what he speaks, he does. And that's why everybody loved him. Everybody respected him. Even the people, even the politicians from rival parties, they respected him. No wonder why he was given Bharata Ratna. He was not well. Bharata Ratna was given by the president himself going to his residence. See this. So a person who has this one value of ārJAVAM, everybody loves and respects him. And another interesting thing is, when I am crooked means what? I think something, I speak something else, I do something else. This is not as crookedness. So when I am crooked, what am I doing? I am training my own mind in crookedness. And that crooked mind becomes my worst enemy. Now, this is a very important point to be kept in mind. Who is my greatest enemy? My own crooked mind. When a person is not straightforward, what is he doing? He is training his mind to be crooked. And that crooked mind becomes his greatest enemy. A mind trained in straightforwardness becomes my greatest friend. A mind trained in crookedness becomes my greatest enemy. The example which I am going to give will shock many of you. I am going to give the example of Maradona, Diego Maradona, one of the best footballers of all times. His own crooked mind destroyed him completely. Swamiji, why do you say that? 1986 World Cup. In the quarter-finals, while playing against England, Argentina was playing against England. He did one illegal goal. He scored one illegal goal. What did he do? He punched the football with his hand and scored the goal. Referee did not see it and referee declared it as goal. Very many people saw it. He himself also knew it, that he had punched it. It was illegal. Very clearly he knew it. Later on in the press conference, press people asked, "Sir, you knew that it's illegal. What is your opinion? You deliberately did it." You know what he answered? He said, "It was the hand of God." Now this is called the act of a crooked mind. You score the goal illegally and you blame it upon God for your selfishness. It was the hand of God means what? God made me do it, is the meaning. My own selfishness, my own greed for name, fame, position, my own greed made me do it, my own vasanas made me do it, my own crooked mind made me do it. Now I am justifying my crookedness, blaming God. A person who knows really who God is, he will say that this God is the voice of conscience. And what will the voice of conscience say? It will never ask you to score such goals. In fact, the voice of conscience was there guiding him also, he could not hear. The voice of conscience would have told him, "Don't score that goal, it is wrong, it is illegal." The voice was there, he did not listen. Even after scoring the goal, that voice was again saying, "You admit it, confess, don't take it as goal." He never listened to that voice. What did he say? God scored that goal through my hand. Wonderful. This is the way our crooked mind cheats us. I do something wrong and I blame God for it. Then what happened? The rest is history. His own crooked mind destroyed him completely. He became a drug addict. He became a drunkard. He became a womanizer. He had all bad habits. Very many relationships he spoiled because of his foul tongue. Very many people became his enemies. He was sentenced to jail for almost 1.5 years. Banned from football. Yes. He ruined his life because of his licentiousness. A person who had so much of talent, we respect his talent because, yes, it is true, he has to be considered as one of the best footballers the world has ever seen. With greatest talents, no doubt. But talent is one thing, character is something totally different. Just because a person has talent doesn't mean he should be a man of character. They are two different things. Character is one thing, talents are something else. It need not be there in one and the same person. He ruined his life. One of the interviews I was seeing about Shoaib Akhtar, the fastest bowler of Pakistan, the former. There was a time when batsmen used to shudder, used to fear his bowling. But yes, though he was a fastest bowler, he was very many times found in sledging, in ball tampering, in using abusive words against batsmen. And nowadays you have these cameras everywhere. Mic is connected to the stump, so whatever they speak, whatever they do, everything is recorded. So you come to know the personality of each individual through such recordings. He is telling in one of the interviews that his own teammates disliked him. His own teammates were jealous of him. They felt insecure about him, and finally he was thrown out disgracefully from the team. This is what his complaints were against his own team. He doesn't understand that it is his crooked mind who is the enemy, not the world around. He was disgracefully thrown out of the team. Who has to be blamed? He says the teammates have to be blamed. No. It is our crooked mind, trained in crooked ways. In the same way, we have Sri Shant in India. He was also disgracefully shown the door. Who has to be blamed? His own behavior. This is very interesting. A person who has values, a person who is a man of character, who has this quality of ārjavam, he is respected everywhere. Look at Rahul Dravid or Sachin Tendulkar or MS Dhoni. They have fans even in Pakistan, you will not believe. The values are such that they go beyond religion and nationality. If you see the performance of Sachin Tendulkar, there are times when he was given out by the umpire, he would silently walk out. Though he knew that he was not out, he would silently walk out in a very decent way, without creating a scene there. See that? There were times when he is out and the umpire is not giving out. Even then he would walk out because he knew that he was out. This is called ārjavam. I know I am wrong, I admit. There were times when fast bowlers used to shower abuses against him. From him you will not find even one word of retaliation. He would retaliate with his bat. He would allow his bat to talk, not the mouth. You will not find him. Even when he retired, he touched the ground. He bowed down in front of the ground. For him, cricket was worship of the Lord. No wonder he is the only player who was awarded Bharat Ratna. Bharat Ratna is not given just for any Tom, Dick and Harry. There are so many people who are talented, but talent alone will not be sufficient. Talents plus this character, that is something which makes a person reverential. I may respect a person for his talent, but I revere a person when that talent is combined with the character, with the values system that he follows. And such people are remembered throughout the human history. Other people, they are very soon forgotten. Now, the complicated aspect about this ārjavam. Ārjavam is defined as what you think, you say, what you say, you do. Now, suppose somebody comes to my home whom I dislike. Now, naturally a question may come. I don't dislike him. So, is it that I should openly tell him, see dear, I don't like you, please get out? Then that is ārjavam, no? Whatever I feel, I say and I do. Will that become ārjavam? Because in life you cannot like everybody. It is what natural. Bhagavan himself has said, ragadvesho vyavasthito. Indriyasya indriyasya arthe. You cannot like everyone, you cannot like every food, you cannot like every dress. It is impossible to like everything. It is not possible for anyone. Likes and dislikes are there. So suppose a person whom you dislike, he comes to your home and you can clearly see the dislike within. So what you should do based on ārjavam, how you should practice ārjavam. So here we have to be very clear. Your behavior should be according to your intellectual conviction, not according to your emotional condition. What you should do, not what you feel like doing, but what you are intellectually convinced of. Now, what is intellectual conviction? Atithi devo bhava. This is what Dharma Shastra says. So, even though there is bitterness within, there is hatred within, there is dislike within, when that person comes, he is atithi. So, a guest, how should you treat him? Atiti Devo Bhava. So you will have to say, oh, so nice that you have come, I am so happy to see you, etc. Internally there is happiness, but this is what you have to say. But Swamiji, is it not against ārjavam? No, it is not against ārjavam. Please understand this. Very clearly the feeling doesn't synchronize with what you say, but ārjavam demands that whatever you are intellectually convinced of, that you must speak. Very many times we hear people saying, I am a very pure-hearted person. Whatever I feel, I speak out. I don't have something inside and something outside. Whatever comes, whatever feeling I have, I just speak out. I don't hide anything. Very many times people glorify their vice as virtue. This is a big mistake. He is a very clean-hearted person. Whatever he feels, he speaks out. He doesn't keep anything in his heart. वो दिल का बड़ा साफ है, जो भी है बोल देता है. He doesn't keep. Now please understand, it is not a virtue, it is a vice called lack of self-control. Whatever comes in the heart, whatever you feel like speaking, if you speak, it is not a virtue. It is lack of self-control. This has to be clearly understood. Bhagavan has given this ability to us, not to speak everything, not to express every feeling of yours, because every feeling is not worth expressing. So that ability the Lord has given, that ability we must exercise. Interestingly, this diplomacy in Sanskrit, it is called Kūtanīti. Kūtanīti. Kūta means what? Deception, cheating. That is called Kūta. And Niti means policy. Nayanat Nitihi. Policies are those which lead a nation, lead a generation forward. Now, leading a nation, Niti, with Kūta, with deception. That's very interesting. How can cheating, through cheating, you lead a nation? You see. So when two diplomats sit together, say for example the diplomats from India and diplomats from Pakistan, they have a rivalry relationship. So many wars have happened. There is bitterness. So what are these diplomats supposed to do? For the time being, they have to keep away all the bitterness, all the dislikes, the anger, hatred, etc. They have to sit together in an atmosphere of friendliness, speaking only sweet words, decent words, respecting each other, and trying to find out all the ways and methods in which the relationship can be improved in the future. So what are they doing? There is Kūta. They are deliberately keeping aside all this bitterness and they are discussing in a friendly tone. Isn't it? They must be trained in speaking sweet words, acceptable words. It is not a joke. Everyone cannot do it. So therefore, diplomacy is a virtue. It is not a vice. You are hiding something, but still it's a virtue. It's a great thing. Very many times people criticize somebody. See that person, he speaks sweetly, but he is very bitter inside. Speaking sweetly is a great thing. Not allowing all the bitterness to spill out through my tongue. Holding it and allowing only sweet words to come out, it's a great virtue. It has to be glorified. It is not something to be criticized. Not allowing the likes and dislikes to dictate my speech and action. It has to be considered a great virtue. So these things should be considered while dealing with ārjavam. So whatever I am intellectually convinced, I speak that, I perform actions according to that. That is called as ārjavam. So this topic also gets over. Now we'll go to the next topic in our next class. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om.